am not your immigrant, and I'm not an immigrant. So stop this argument about we all immigrants. We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. What's going on, folks? It's your boy Javier Javier with the Javier Javier Show. Make sure you say it twice. I'm here to talk about it, man. This whole argument about we all immigrants. First of all, let me say it. I'm not your immigrant. I am not an immigrant. I did not migrate here. I was born here. I was born right here in the U.S. of A. I didn't come here on a boat. I didn't come here on a plane. I didn't come here some mysterious way. I didn't come here. I was born here. My mother and father was born here. So, for one, my ancestors was forced here. They didn't come here on their own free volition. Secondly, everybody came here. All the ancestors came here. If you want to talk about the ancestors, and I'm talking about even Native Americans, they came here as immigrants. Everybody's an immigrant if you want to use that criteria. All the people that came here before us that originally stepped foot on this shore that wasn't originally from here are immigrants. Even the Native Americans, the Mexicans, they're all descendants of immigrants. But we're not immigrants. I didn't migrate here. I was born here. So this argument about we're all immigrants is just false. It's something that people say to make themselves feel good. It's something that people say to try to make you feel as if you're being a hypocrite. But you're not being a hypocrite. For one reason, I didn't ask to be here. I was born here. I didn't come to this country. I was born in this country. I don't know how many times I got to say it. How many times do I have to say it? Do I have to keep saying it? Because for some reason, there's a large group of people out there, especially on the left, who decided that we're all immigrants. But what does that even mean? Like, in order to be an immigrant, you must first migrate somewhere. Now, if you're the descendant of an immigrant, then say we all descended from immigrants. But don't say that we're all immigrants. That's just factually incorrect. Now, I get tired of having to defend myself or defend other people against that argument. What is up with that argument? Who came up with this argument? Who decided that we're all immigrants? Because we're not all immigrants. Once again, here you go. You got me saying it again. I keep saying it again. For some reason, I done said it about 10, 15 times already just in the span of this video so far. So, just drop the argument. Find a new argument. If you want to make the argument about people not discriminating against other people because they come from a different country, that's a perfectly fine argument to make. Stop making the argument that because somehow my descendants came here, well, me personally came here against their own free will, that somehow I can't decide that I don't want other people from other places coming here illegally. That doesn't make sense. That argument does not even apply to the current situation that we now live in. People try to pretend as if war wasn't a reality, and it is still not a reality. People try to pretend as if people didn't go to other people's land and take it all the time. This happened on every continent. You think the Native Americans that were here before the white man showed up, that they wasn't killing each other and taking over their resources and taking their lands? Have you heard about the Mayans? Have you heard about all these other clans and tribes that used to do these things? This is not something that's brand new. You can't make the argument that because we're all descendants of immigrants, that somehow that this land is not somehow occupied and controlled by a certain world power at this moment, which controls and dictates the borders. Yes, we're all humans, but that doesn't give everybody, I'll put it like this, just because that we're all humans, and yes, there is no deed written in the sky that says that these people are entitled to this land at this specific time. That is true. But the problem with that is, if there's nothing written, we have to make our own rules. And right now, there's not another force or another country out there or another people who can overthrow the government and take over the land and make it an open border system or society. That's not the way these things work. So if you're going to approach the conversation, if you're going to have the argument, let's have the argument honestly, instead of trying to make somebody feel guilty by saying that they're immigrants when they're not immigrants. You're just factually incorrect. And now you're trying to put that on everybody else who disagrees with you about a situation we should honestly be having a conversation about and discussing. Yeah, we live in this country. There are people who are poor, especially people on the left. They make this argument. There are people poor. There are people starving. There are people homeless right now in this country. And yet you want to invite more poor people who don't have skills, more people who won't benefit the society into the country because they so happen to live in a country that is somehow not taking care of their people on the proper way that they should. I'm for helping those countries get their act together. But it's the simple idea that because somebody else is going through a hard time somewhere, that they're entitled to be here because somehow our ancestors immigrated here. That's BS. I'm just going to call it for what it is. Now, I get that a lot of y'all might disagree with me, and that's cool. Like I always say, I'm here to disagree. I'm here to say things that you may not agree with, that some people may agree with. I'm here to have a conversation. I'm here to be wrong. I'm here to be right. But right now, as it stands, until I'm providing more information about the way things actually work in the real world, I am not an immigrant. I'm not an immigrant. Some of y'all are not immigrants. Some of y'all are. There's illegal immigrants and there's legal immigrants. There are people who come here by the rules that is set up in a society that now controls and dictates this part of the land, and they adhere to the instructions that was given to them to come here legally. And those people who came here illegally, there's rules in place for that also. But your argument can't be because we somehow are the descendants of immigrants that somehow we can't say who can come in and who can't come into our country. It makes no sense. Now, I started off rusty in this argument. I started off slow, but I'm picking up my momentum. But let me know what your thoughts is. Tell me what you think. Am I an immigrant? Are you an immigrant? Because we descended from immigrants? Which some of us, our ancestors didn't choose to be here. So, let's have a conversation. Write in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Say, Javier, you wrong. Javier, you right. Whatever it is that's on your mind, give me some information. Let's talk to one another. Because those who agree with me, agree with me. Those who disagree with me, disagree with me. Let's see where it takes us. And if I'm wrong about something, I'll make a video and I'll correct it later on the record. So, you came, you heard, you saw. Now run and tell them I said it. And if they ask me by name, make sure you say it twice. This is the Javier Javier Show.